So, what are chronic fatigue syndrome symptoms? Is there a complete chronic fatigue syndrome symptoms list? In this video, I'm going to answer those questions for you and in the process share a really vital, potentially life-saving fact with you that anyone experiencing chronic fatigue syndrome must keep front of mind. The symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome include a long list of symptoms from various bodily systems. It's important to note here that I'm not just talking about the symptom of chronic fatigue, but rather the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome, also known as myalgic encephalomyelitis, ME/CFS, post-viral fatigue syndrome, or SEID. So, core symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome, CFS, of course include fatigue, as you might expect. However, it's not the kind of fatigue that many healthy people experience from time to time, because this fatigue is not just more severe, but it's also more pervasive. It's ongoing. And what is unique is that the fatigue symptom in CFS is not relieved by rest or sleep. And some patients even feel worse in the morning than they did the night before. Even when the fatigue lessens, it doesn't actually go away altogether, often returning again as soon as there is any exertion, either physical or mental. And this is called post-exertional malaise. It's also referred to as post-exertional neuroimmune exhaustion. It doesn't just mean that the fatigue gets worse, but that the range of symptoms worsens. And it usually includes a feeling of malaise, as the name suggests. Now, some people refer to this as flu-like symptoms, feeling run down, swollen glands, nausea, and so on. As you can see, the list of symptoms for CFS quickly grows. Other core symptoms include sleep dysfunction and cognitive disturbance. The sleep dysfunction symptoms in CFS include not getting to sleep, not sleeping deeply, as well as waking up unrefreshed or waking up at early hours. Sometimes that is even between 1 and 4 a.m. Cognitive disturbance, often called brain fog, can mean a range of problems, including confusion, inability to concentrate, and problems with memory. However, it also includes other neurological manifestations, such as sensitivities to stimulus, like bright lights, smells, noise, and even touch. Another core symptom of chronic fatigue syndrome is orthostatic intolerance. This is a worsening of symptoms upon assuming and maintaining an upright position, and primarily includes a rapid heartbeat, palpitations, it can be chest pain, nausea, dizziness, and poor blood pressure regulation. Now, all these core symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome can vary in severity and change over time. So not only do the symptoms vary amongst people with ME/CFS, but they also vary for the individual as time goes by. So even this core list of CFS symptoms is quite long. But when we look at all the other CFS symptoms also, the list is really staggering, as you can start to see over here now. With the list of ME/CFS symptoms being so long, it's easy to see why many people feel like they look like hypochondriacs, and sadly are often accused of making the symptoms up. But together, we can change this by sharing the facts with positive advocacy. Because chronic fatigue syndrome can be so confusing, people are often left wondering what chronic fatigue syndrome is, how it is diagnosed, what are the effective treatments, and many more questions. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel to ensure that you don't miss any important new videos that answer these and other important questions. Please remember also to give us the thumbs up below to help us spread the word. Regarding all these CFS symptoms, it's important to realize that people don't usually have all of these CFS symptoms, and that they may only have some of these symptoms for a period of time, whilst the core symptoms tend to remain. It is quite common for a person with chronic fatigue syndrome to say, "How can I be so unlucky? How can I have so many different things wrong with me?" This is often because they don't realize that all these different symptoms are actually connected to the syndrome of CFS. Whilst pain and orthostatic symptoms can also be part of the syndrome, when they are very severe, they may lead to a concurrent diagnosis of fibromyalgia or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, known as POTS. There's also a large range of other comorbid or concurrent conditions that are usually diagnosed separately. And these include things like gut dysbiosis, SIBO, hypothyroidism, autoimmune disease, endometriosis, adrenal fatigue, irritable bowel syndrome, and so on. As we understand more about the nervous system and endocrine dysfunctions of chronic fatigue syndrome, we can make more connections about how all these conditions are linked. At the beginning of this video, I asked, is there such a thing as a complete list of symptoms for CFS? Chances are that you can see quite a comprehensive list wherever you're watching this video right now. And you can also check out a comprehensive CFS symptoms list on cfsunravel.com. However, because there are so many secondary dysfunctions that lead to the symptoms, the list really is very extensive, and I don't believe that there will ever be a complete list, because the connections between the symptoms and CFS is just not fully realized a lot of the time. This also has some important implications which can potentially be life-saving. You see, most people experiencing CFS keep going back to their doctor, and they keep presenting with new symptoms. They have more and more tests, and often it results in no additional diagnosis or treatment. Now, all of this takes some effort, especially for a chronically ill person, and people experiencing CFS, they often eventually give up in chasing these answers on new symptoms. They conclude it's just another CFS symptom. Whilst this is understandable, the danger of this is that the symptoms could be due to something else, like food poisoning, or some severe infection, or some other serious disease. So if symptoms are left unchecked, you may be foregoing effective or even life-saving treatment for another serious condition. So please make sure that you always report a change in symptoms or any new symptoms to your doctor. Another question this big variety of symptoms in CFS can raise is whether the illness is real or just a collection of different illnesses. And that adds to the difficulty that patients experience. Rest assured, the symptoms are very real, and they can be quite severe. You can help change how the illness is perceived by letting others know about the symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome by simply sharing this webpage or video on social media, or posting a link or embedding the video on your blog or website. I hope you leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.